All right, we are now pleased to welcome on to the Reverse Mush podcast and Into the Bookie's Basement. Friend of the program, he's a Serralongo BJJ black belt, current CFFC flyweight champion. Although we'll get to that one. James Gonzalez, thank you for joining us, man. How we doing?
Yeah, thanks, buddy. I wish I could make flyweight. I'm actually featherweight, but
oh my god, classic!
Yeah, Harry
I'm off
botched
to a
the
great
intro.
start. I'm off to a great start.
Right? But I should have said it anyway, right?
That's my bad.
Nah, James, thanks for coming on, bro. This is honestly awesome for us. We'll talk about it in a bit, but we got to see you probably do the most filthy submission I've seen in my life in person, sitting cage side. So this is fucking awesome, man. Thanks for coming.
Pretty cool you were there. Yeah, going out to the cage was not a friendly night for me. They were all, very savage.
Oh yeah, trust me. I'm a Philly guy myself, and I'm sometimes people might call me like a Philly scumbag when it comes to sports. But dude, we'll talk about that fight. But it was an awesome environment, especially for you to go in there and do what you did, and just kind of like I said. I'm from Philly, but I was pulling for you. I liked your corner. I was pulling for that Sarah BJJ right there. But it's funny, dude. These fucking people in Philly just love to boo.
Yeah. It's all good.
That's facts, man. All right, so we were doing a little research before you're coming on. We thought the listeners might be interested in just kind of, what it's like coming up through the amateur circuits, through the regional pro circuits, and just kind of the road it takes to get to where you're at. So 7-2 as an amateur, 6-3 as a pro right now. When you started as an amateur in New York, MMA was still illegal technically, right?
Yeah. It's so different now. When I first started doing the MMA, it was no one was posting about it on Instagram or Facebook. We didn't want the cops to show up and close the down. And also, it was just things were happening in like cafeterias of like schools or like auditoriums. The way it is now, I'm happy it got there, but like when I started, it was very different. But the way it is pretty much a pro event. Like it's just as good as a pro event. A lot of the guys that are coming up now are really getting like, not only is, MMA and jiu-jitsu and stuff like that more like acceptable in society now, but like, just the way people are running these promotions is so much very legit, very business savvy. And, where you can just see how they're putting out all these amateur fighters and they're turning pros. Like I have a bunch of teammates that went pro recently from transitioning from the amateur, career to the pro career, and they were built up and it was recorded with such great quality. Like a lot of my amateur fights, I don't think I have all of them. I don't have access to see them all. And I think maybe my first 3 or 4 pro fights, there used to be like this MMA kind of like video library. They went bankrupt. So like my first 3 or 4 fights, I don't know how to see them, but whatever I did on UFC Fight Pass, you could still see, So
yeah, there's
that's
plenty.
Definitely tight, at least.
And there's plenty of fucking electricity on those videos as well. Did watch one old fight today. It was against I don't know the last name of the guy you were fighting, Paulie, in that I think it was a title fight because you got a belt at the end of it.
It was November 2015 in Queens.
Yeah. This was my 145 debut at amateur. I think his name was Paul Garassi or something like that.
Okay,
that sounds right.
Yeah,
the people yelling in the crowd sounded very Italian.
Yeah, it's Paulie.
Yeah. He was a tough kickboxer. He's from Belmont. I don't know if he's fighting anymore. But he was really tough. I kind of out jujitsu'd him.
Yeah,
back
absolutely.
Watching you roll is something, man.
It's an art. That's an art.
Career was really saved by my jiu-jitsu. Thank God I was good at jiu-jitsu because, I didn't really do a lot of striking in the beginning of my career. I'm still not the richest guy, but like to afford striking and jiu-jitsu privates over and over, it's really, really hard to maintain. So I was just going in that cage with just jiu-jitsu in my pocket, And I did very well. And when I went pro, my first fight, I got a pretty good beating. I survived 3 rounds, but like that really opened my eyes. Like, okay, your jiu-jitsu can only take you so far in a fight. It's better to really focus on your striking and really be like people tell me all the time. If your striking is just as dangerous as your jiu-jitsu, James, you'd be a world beater. You just
Yeah.
fucking you would
The
go
jiu-jitsu is
through that.
elite.
Yeah, I was really hoping my last 2 fights that I would get a couple of rounds in, but fucking
That's the
That's
problem when you
actually
shatter a guy's arm into a billion
well.
pieces.
Well, that was
I was
actually
taking I was taking so many striking privates with my coach Eric Heyer. He's an awesome striker. I don't know. Okay, sorry about that. He's an awesome striker and striking coach, and he really like got me so confident in my hands that I can stand and bang with guys, and if they get uncomfortable on the feet before me and they want to I want to kind of like Nate Diaz people. I kind of
yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I'm
get
getting.
at you on the feet until you want to grapple, and then if you're going to grapple me when you're at a disadvantage,
Good
and
luck.
Right.
good luck with that.
You're gonna
Well,
beat the shit out of him, but you also might pull guard at any moment.
Exactly.
and that was
I don't necessarily like pulling guard in an MMA fight. My sensei Matt, he even Henzo Gracie, they're like they hate when guys pull guard, but it's an
really
option in case I get rocked. I'm not scared to go to the ground, so
right.
I can really be comfortable throwing my hands or kicks without really having to worry about, oh man, I hope I don't overcommit to this and lose my balance. Like a lot of guys.
Right.
So
And I feel like most guys, even even if you're on your back, they just don't want to be on the ground with you realistically.
yeah, they'll probably let me get up and I can take my time if I want. But yeah, the last 2 fights I finished, my bantamweight debut. I had a great first round in the grappling and even the striking. I felt really good at 135, and I kneed him in the head and I cut his face open and the ref waved it off. I wanted to go longer.
Yeah, I
Because
saw it was a stoppage.
I wanted to see how I felt, 3 rounds at bantamweight because like that's like my new division. I was always on the small side of 145, not the smallest, but
Right.
small side compared to the guys I've lost to. Michael
Yeah.
Chinzan, Bill Algeo. These guys are big,
Right. And whereas I would say at
that's
135, you'd probably be, not the biggest guy, but I feel like you'd be a bigger guy at 135.
yeah. I'm definitely closer to the bigger end of
Right.
the division, but I'm not like overly huge, like
Do you feel more natural there?
I feel like I'm leaner. Like when I made 135, I was kind of scared. Like I'm like, man, I really hope I can make weight. I hope I'm doing this right. And I was eating right. I was doing all the extra cardio I had to do. And I'll tell you the truth, man, it was an easier weight cut than 145.
Really?
Really?
I was so focused and eating right and doing everything I had to do that I didn't have all this extra weight on, and I wasn't like, oh, it's only because when I fight at 145, I was only cutting like 12 pounds, and I was kind of chubby in it out a little bit. I'd be eating pizza and
I
stuff.
feel that. I
Like,
feel that heavy.
like I eat till I'm full, if that makes sense, every time. But when I made the cut to 135, I was eating very clean. I wasn't eating candy or drinking soda and shit like that. It really makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And I felt really good. And
Yeah.
so and then after that fight, I took a short notice fight at 145 against Sabatini,
Mhm.
and I showed up. Like I really, especially since I was working a lot on my striking with Eric, I wanted to kind of showcase my striking a bit, but he kicked my back leg out for me when we were both throwing kicks, and it went to the ground right away. And like that's a move like I hit.
That was wrapped up quick.
Oh,
Yeah, especially guys who've never trained with me. Sometimes I get in my own head a little bit, like when I'm, training with the people I usually train with. I'm like, damn, these guys know everything I'm gonna do. Like how am I gonna get people with this stuff? When I'm fighting. But like it's a completely different animal when you're fighting guys who've never felt you,
Right.
or know your game. And like, it just went in there. when
Did
I
you
got
know as soon as that was in? Did you know that was over?
We heard
well,
him yell it.
yeah, like so. What happened was I actually didn't break his arm. He broke his own arm because when I had the position, he should have tapped, but
Right.
he tried
That's
ripping
true.
his arm free, and that's what dislocated his shoulder. Um,
Oh,
nothing
man.
against the
Yeah,
guy.
no, it's
It's a very
fucked.
uncommon submission, so it's not. I mean, maybe he thought he could get out that way. I'm pretty sure that's the first of its kind from that particular modified position. Because it's kind of like an omoplata and an
Right.
Americana put together. You know what I'm
It
saying?
was
Right.
insane. I've never
And
seen anything like it.
when
Props to Pat for being a warrior.
I
yeah,
think
no,
he didn't
no,
even know what was
dude,
going on.
yeah.
He pointed at his
Shocked.
arm.
I'm happy it was. He had the best of a worst case scenario. He had a dislocated elbow and dislocated shoulder, so nothing broke, no
Right.
tendons ripped, and I'm happy. He's healthy and everything. But like after his shoulder popped, I told the ref, I'm like, his arm's broken, and the
Yeah, we
ref
Yeah.
was
heard
like,
you.
he didn't tap. He's not saying anything. You got to keep going. And then I had to finish the arm break like that belly down
Yeah.
armbar. I didn't want to do that shit. I wish I could have just let it go
Yeah.
there, but
It's
I had
part
to
of
make
it.
sure I had to make sure it was broken because if it wasn't, and I let go of the position, and I just thought it was,
Right.
then
Then it's all for nothing.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And at this point in my career, I can't be giving people, like, oh, I don't want to hurt this guy.
Yeah, no free
It's
passes
like,
anymore.
No, you
yeah,
guys are both
It's your
stepping into the
turn.
cage.
because
You
I
guys
know
are all stepping into the cage. You all know what you're getting into.
yeah, because I know
It
if that
sucks,
was
but it's the
me,
price of doing business.
yeah, if that was me, I'm tapping. I'm not breaking my arm.
Smart man.
I mean,
Not
look at
breaking my arm
Alexander
for a
Gustafsson. He
championship.
wasn't taking any risks. Gustafsson tapped quicker than as soon as that grip broke, he was out. I'm not
Yeah,
losing my arm right now.
Verdum on you,
Yeah,
Verdum.
that's exactly. I
He was
mean,
almost out. I felt really bad, but that's just the first fight. Just keep. I hope he doesn't get scared to go back into that division, but that's just the first fight happens like that sometimes.
you know who was more pissed than the Philly fans that were booing you that night?
CM Punk.
CM Punk, but also Harry and myself, because fucking for 30 minutes before your fight, we're in a casino. We're like,
Yeah.
all right, where are the lines for this fight? This guy's took 6 days notice. He's probably a heavy fucking dog. He's going up against an 11-0 Sabatini, hometown hero. We were begging for lines on you. And as soon as you did it, we're like, of course he fucking wins in 40 seconds.
Nope,
We
we
get to
couldn't
bet on
find the
it.
action anywhere.
We
Nobody
couldn't
makes
get to bet
lines
on
for
it.
it.
And we were begging for a James Gonzalez line that night.
Looking in every nook and cranny, under every rock, and nobody would take our
And
money.
then we celebrated like we won a bet, and then we lost a ton. But
Yeah,
hey.
I hope you didn't lose as much money celebrating your victory as we did.
All right. No, it's a good night. I'm happy I was able to show up and perform and everything. Because this was at the beginning of this was before COVID really.
Right before it.
Yeah.
Right before it.
Because what we had one of our we have like an extended family of fighters that come from other countries to come train at our gym and stuff. So we had a fighter from
Georgia
Italy.
strong.
There's a lot of Georgians in the crowd.
In January, and a lot of us got really sick, but we were okay. But that weight cut was rough, and
I was going to ask you about that 6 days.
The test yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if I had it. But if I did, it shows everyone we can get over it.
That's crazy. I was reading actually that you had the flu going into that fight, but I guess when you put two and two together,
I was like, guys, why are you booing me? I came. I saved the show. I was sick coming into this, and I still came and performed. Give me some credit.
Well, I was going to ask you, how brutal is a weight cut on 6 days' notice?
Well, if it was 135, that would have been a motherfucker. But,
right. What were you at when you took it?
I was probably 59. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 59-ish maybe.
That's a cut.
And I was just kind of preparing anyway. Just trying to keep after the 135-pound fight, I kind of just try to keep that same diet going.
Okay.
I'll have cheat meals here and there, but like I was predominantly eating like healthier. And what's it called? After that, it was like making 145 is very easy. Like I'll tell you today, after training today, I was 149 because I'm trying to be ready for anything. Like
Right.
if UFC needs a fight at 35 or 45, I'm ready.
Give
All
the
I
man a
need-
call. Give the man a call.
Yeah. Like, I like all I want to do is fight, and like I've seen a lot of people fighting, making their debuts because of the COVID, and
Right.
these guys
I was
get in
gonna
the
say, I
cage.
feel like fighters who are kind of, like basically in your position where you're right on the fringe, basically, of getting that call to the UFC, getting that UFC fight, have kind of been the only group of athletes or people really who have sort of benefited from any of this, because there have just been a lot of guys who just they get that call on short notice, and you
Yeah,
never know. You know what I mean?
yeah, and like some of the guys I've seen fight, I feel like they either didn't want to be there, they're calling their own matches,
That
or
guy they threw in with
they, yeah,
Kiamev last weekend.
I feel bad for him because he was smart enough. Maybe he just really wasn't in it, and it was a short notice fight for him as well.
Right.
But like that happens. But like I've also seen some guys, they get the call and they're getting either knocked out or finished in the first round. And I'm like, please, Dana White, Sean Shelby, one of you guys, just give me my shot. Like
Yeah.
I was on that Dana White's looking for a fight episode.
Okay.
Like I think 2 years ago, and I dominated, and I was really hoping, man, maybe I can get in the UFC or at least on that Contender Series. But I guess they kind of forgot about me. So I
Hey.
hope that past fight with the CFFC, I'm on the radar a bit. I know a lot of people saw that submission, and I just want to do something crazy again.
Absolutely, man.
That's
Try
I
to put on
think.
a show.
Hey, I mean, I the fighting game's weird. Me and Harry were talking about it. I guess we can go into it a little bit if you want to. If not, wipe
No,
it off
go
the
ahead.
board.
So
But
whatever.
I saw your post about getting kind of
Oh, yeah.
passed over again, and I said to Harry yesterday, I'm like, it just feels like you see these type of situations all the time in the fight game. It just seems like sometimes it's not the most loyal thing. So like, what do you do? Like, what's your mindset to just make sure you stay focused and make sure because like you said, you want to get that shot. I saw you fight. I would love to see you get that shot.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I know Sabatini was CFFC's boy. That
Right.
was the poster child a bit.
Yeah,
I
I
was
was gonna
brought.
ask if you feel like you're
Yeah,
getting punished for kind of fucking with the
yeah,
hometown hero a little bit.
exactly. I was brought there to lose, and like they didn't want me to win. And after that fight, I I took the fight like, hey man, if I win this fight, I want that 135-pound title fight like right away. I know COVID happened and everything, but like he, Mr. Haydak, the promoter, he's like, look man, whatever you want to do, we're doing. And then all of a sudden, they asked me, hey, we're having a little bit of a hard time finding you a 135-pound fight, but would you like to fight for the 40 rematch Sabatini for the belt again? And I was like, well, you guys said you're gonna find that 135-pound title fight because that's my new weight class. I'm not walking around super heavy no more. Like,
Right.
Right.
and
That's where
we
you're trying to
agreed
put
on
tape up too.
135. And then they said, okay, we'll see what happens. We'll get back to you about it. We'll see if we can get a fight for you. And then
All right. Sports are Bach, and so are daily fantasy sports. But with a twist. Come prop up on Thrive Fantasy this season. Thrive Fantasy is a daily fantasy sports app for player props. They've eliminated the need to do countless hours of research because they only ask you about the top tier athletes in a respective sport. You build a lineup. So NBA right now, you choose 10 out of 20 player prop options. You build your lineup. Each prop has a fantasy point total associated with the over or under based on its likelihood to occur. The more points a selection is worth, the riskier it is. Rack up the most points to win a share of the prize pool. So Thrive Fantasy, I'm going off script here for a second because I've been using Thrive Fantasy. And let me tell you, it is great fun. Great fun. I can play all these prop bets without having to actually go in and bet every single prop bet. That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Let me get all involved in the board without actually having to get all involved in the board. Save me some money. And even better, Thrive has awarded over 1.3 million in cash prizes since launching in 2018. So right now, you go to thrivefantasy.com. It's www.thrivefantasy.com and use promo code BACH, B-A-C-H, BACH when you sign up. You'll receive an instant $20 bonus on your first deposit of $20 or more. That's a $20 bonus on your first deposit of $20 or more. Download Thrive Fantasy on the App Store or Play Store by visiting their website, www.thrivefantasy.com. Sign up and prop up today.
Exactly. So, CFFC said they would get back to me, and then I never heard back from them, and then I didn't even see it. A couple of my coach, actually, Eric, he sent me the post about a title fight happening between Pat and
that's fucked
Al.
up.
And I'm like, wait a second, what? And then I guess they stripped me of the belt without even telling me,
That's
and then
dirty, man.
like when I went to get in contact with them, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna find you a 135-pound fight in October." And I was like, "Okay, I guess." But I'm trying to fight as fast as possible because I really wanted to get fight in August, so I could, if I won, I could get on the Contender Series in September. Like that was the
Right.
whole point. And yeah, like that's not cool, man. Like
Nah, it's
No, not at
backwards.
all. You
like
come in, you save a card for them, like you do everything that they ask you to do. You win, you destroy their poster boy, and like they're gonna punish you for it. Like, what kind of shit is that? Come on.
like I kind of wish I just said yes and put bantamweight on hold,
Right.
but I didn't think this was gonna happen, and they didn't even warn me like this was gonna happen. Like it wasn't even like a hint, like, hey, if you don't fight, we're gonna strip you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like if that was the case, I would have been like, well, let's go for round 2 then. Like
Right.
that's me if that's the thing. But
they should have at least given you I mean, first off, they absolutely should have given you a heads up, regardless of what was going on. You should have been in the loop. But second off, to strip that belt that you took off this kid's waist, shoulder, wherever you want to put that belt. I mean, and then not really give you the rematch without just stripping you. I mean, it's just backwards, and that's what basically what I was saying yesterday to Harry. And I said it earlier, but it just feels like in the fighting game, people get dicked sometimes.
Yeah, like no ill will to Pat or
No, absolutely.
to Alfio. Like they're fighters too. They gotta take opportunities when they get it. This is more for the promoter,
Absolutely, that's on the promotion.
Yeah, it's like I've come through. I fought prospects for you. Like the guy I fought at 135, he was a prospect at 130. He was a very tough guy. No one wanted to fight him. Guess who wanted to fight the toughest guys? I've never been one to duck tough fights.
Yeah.
I've always the toughest top guys in the region, and they've always found a way not to fight each other. You know what I'm saying? But I think now because maybe
weird how that works.
He lost this fight, Algio wants to. Oh, if the guy I beat him, maybe I can beat him now. So like these guys, they dodge each other up until they have to fight each other.
Sounds like fucking Cejudo.
Yeah. But like no disrespect, but I'm just saying as an observation I made. Like that's like me. I like it's really not about like I guess now since I am 6-3. Like of course I'm gonna say it's not about the record, bro. It's not about. But me, I've always wanted to just get in the cage and fight. Like that's it.
Right.
I think
anyone
every night, and if I win, I fucking win, and if I lose, I'm putting on the best fight I can.
Absolutely, and I think we've seen that Dana and other promotions. There's value in guys who will come out and put on a show. If you're willing to just step in there and take any fight, you'll keep getting contracts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And eventually, it feels like the reward's got to come. You know what I mean, man? I mean,
yeah, I think you hang in there.
Right track.
Yeah. The only times I've had to pull out a fight is I had staph infection, and like I was supposed to fight on the Bellator card at in like a year and a half or so ago, and I had a fever the day of the weigh-ins. I was 101.4 or something, and I missed weight by a pound, and like I was really feeling like shit. Visibly, they saw it and they're like, "Bro, you can't fight." you have a fever. When you have a fever and you get punched in the head, the risks of your brain bleeding from the trauma go through the roof opposed to it
Wow.
have no problem. And like, even then, I was like, please don't cancel the fight. This is in New York. This is my town. I'll take that risk. And I guess that was really stupid of me to even do that. But, the doctors are like, look, I know this is probably one of the biggest fights of your career, but still, man, you can't fight with a fever. And on top of that, with the infection, they're like, are you crazy?
Are you a Looney Tune or what?
Yeah, you love to see the fighter's mentality, but yeah, I mean, at the same time, it's definitely good to see the doctors do their job, because at the end of the day, keeping you safe is definitely what's most important.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't happy about it the day of, but when I got home, I didn't wake up till 4 p.m. the next day. Like, I was
man.
If they let me fight, I wouldn't have made it to the fighter meeting.
Yeah.
They would have been like, where this fucking guy?
And yeah, God forbid, like you got put out or something, you get real hurt, like that alters your career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But besides that, I guess I'm blessed in a way a little bit. I kind of wish this whole craziness that's going on didn't happen, because I had a lot of momentum coming into the new year after that win, after these 2 wins, and my whole team, we're undefeated this year.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Serralongo is hot right now, man.
With so many guys who just fucking smashed it this year, and this bullshit fucking virus is going around ruining our opportunities.
Yeah, dude, I fucking
sucks, man.
We got to get rid of this goddamn shit. I don't know what we could do.
Don't worry, it'll be November. That's
dude.
At least a lot of these MMA promotions are starting to get back, and they're putting on cards and they're putting on fights, and it feels like they're doing a better job than all these other fucking sports. So we got that going for us, at least.
Yeah, it's so awesome though. Like, actually hearing the fight happen.
It's wild.
It's crazy.
Hearing
leg
these
kicks,
guys dig deep. Like, and not just like that's awesome too, to actually hear how loud these strikes are with no crowd, but like to hear these guys fight, like you hear them, grunting, going.
You hear every breath,
right?
Yeah.
Breathing, you hear the cornering, like any corners that are fighting right now that are bullshit and don't know.
They're on the hot seat.
Yeah,
they're in trouble.
Because even for like the casual viewers, you can listen. You could, now that you can hear everything. There's some of the. I mean, it got put on blast. I'm blanking on the guy's name who he said he was out. He's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And
this was Robert Drysdale's guys.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And he got put on blast. I don't really think what he did was necessarily wrong, but it's a hard situation, of course. But any corner in this, like, you can watch these fights and you can hear like what they're saying, and anyone can say like, that doesn't sound like the smartest thing in the world.
Yeah. And we've heard fighters say that they're like making in-fight adjustments based off hearing like Cormier at the commentary table.
Mike Perry didn't have a quarter.
You definitely hear some of the bias from the corner. Like they'll be like, "Oh, what he needs to do is this."
Yep.
Like they're just commentating. I'm like,
openly coaching.
What's going on here, guys?
I feel like Bisping was super obvious with that.
Yeah, Bisping and even Paul Felder.
Yeah, Felder gets a little bad with that too.
Yeah. But it is a totally different way to fuck. I mean, we're gonna see it with every sport shortly. I'm currently watching the Pelicans Jazz game, and it's like, it's just wild. I mean, it's just a place that I never thought we would be in.
Wait, Pelican? What, like basketball?
Yeah, basketball is back on tonight.
It's back on.
Yeah,
they're in the bubble. They're in
Orlando.
Holy shit!
So they're basically playing I think they're playing somewhere in Magic Kingdom, and they built full blown courts. They have fans on fucking FaceTime in the stands. It's wild.
Saturday, man.
It's like a movie that I would think I would watch it from, like, shown in 2070.
Jesus.
So back to corners real quick. I actually wanted to ask you before, when you go into a fight in CFFC and at that level, do you feel like it makes like a tremendous difference to have guys like Aljo and Ray Longo in your corner?
Yeah, man. Like, I've always had great corners. Like, they've always been there in my corner. I actually, just in my amateur career, I was kind of doing it on my own because I was so broke, like really broke. And but like they see how hard I work. I always try and fight on cards where other of my teammates are on anyway, just so because like when I fought Pat, my boys Nazda and Kelvin were fighting on the same card as me. So I
Right.
don't feel
Another
bad
3-0 night.
Yeah.
come all the way out just for me. So I've always tried to get on cards that I have teammates already competing on.
The company man.
Yeah, they always are always there for me. I can't thank Ray and Chris and Matt enough, man. They've
That's
really
awesome.
done so much. Just giving me a home like to be at, and like because like if I wasn't doing, I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't doing jiu-jitsu and MMA. Like it's all I do. It's kind of my only hobby. Like I recently started like I have some pets now. I have like a chameleon and some but
Love
like
it.
I haven't been anything outside focused of fucking fighting and trying to make this dream come true. Like, but yeah, this quarantine kind of made me like, oh, I need a pet in my life because I'm but yeah, everything else, I'm just staying ready. Like I was saying before, I'm pretty light right now. I'm like, after training, I was under 150, but I just, I'm going to eat and drink and stuff. Probably going to get back over, probably around 53, 54. But I'm ready. I'm ready to make 35 on a week's notice if I have to. I'm ready to make 45 on a day's notice if I have to. I don't care. I can make 45 night if I wanted to. It's no problem.
And that's the mindset that I think it's going to take you to that shot that you're waiting for. I mean, you saw a guy on that card that we saw you fight at. Kyle Dawkins got his UFC debut a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and he had a fight. Like
that was a great fight.
But like he went in there, he took his opportunity.
Ate an early knee.
Some things. There was just some positions where he lost, and they were like there were positions where he couldn't have afforded to lose, and that's why he ended up losing the fight. But I've seen that guy tough, man, and he's a big guy. I think
recovering from that knee at the beginning of the fight.
Yeah.
I thought he was done.
That was in the first 30 seconds of the fight. He hit the deck, and I thought he was out, but it went the decision.
Like,
folded up.
He's young, so I'm sure as he doing this, his body's just going to get stronger and stronger. He's going to get that grown man strength, and he's going to be a problem for people at 185. But this was a good dig deep fight. Like, I know it's great to like win fights in the first round, like, wow, that's awesome. I didn't get hurt or anything. But it's the fights where you're going to that last bell and you're really giving it your all. Those are the fights I love, because it's not just about winning. It's about finding out your truth, man. It's like, yo, I can do this. I can not only take a beating or give a beating. Like, I know that I can last.
Well, that was actually that's one of the questions I had written down for you, and kind of answered it there. But I wanted to ask you, like, is there ever a time like you just said, people love the flashy finishes, they love getting in and out of there and having a highlight reel on SportsCenter and getting that extra little hype on social media, whatever it might be. But are there ever times where you're like, I want to go in there for 15 minutes and absolutely just dominate a guy?
Yeah, that's honestly. If I could, like it'd be great to do something like that Cosmat guy.
Yeah.
That would
carry him around.
Awesome to just, because like that's different, like, because that was just total domination.
That was disrespectful.
All respect to the other guy, but that guy is just Khabib 2.0, man. Like,
it's insane, man. I think the strikes were 146-2.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, the total from 2 fights, he took 2 strikes.
Yeah, he did it the following week too. He just fought again.
Yep.
And he took no strikes, and he finished the guy in the first round. It's crazy. And like, I'd love to do that. But see, the thing is about fighting, like when you really love fighting, the shorter the fight is, the shorter the time you get to be in that moment.
Right.
Like right now, I'm itching to get in the cage. I just want to be in the cage. And right now, I'm hoping I can be in the cage for 15 to 25 minutes, because I just haven't been in there for so long.
Yeah.
Even if I'm on the bad end of it, bro, I want to fight. I want to be in there, because when it really comes down to it, the less time you have in the cage, the less experience and preparedness you'll have for your future fights. So, like, if you want to finish fights in 10 seconds or, in the first round all the time, what happens when that round 2 and round 3 comes and you're not prepared for it?
Never tested.
Right. You've been there before. You've seen that position. You've been in the deep water. You know how to get out of it.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, and it sucks. I'm not saying it's the best feeling, Sometimes you're on the bad end and you really have to dig deep, but you find that out about yourself.
Yeah.
You find that out. You learn about yourself. Hey, man, this sucks, but you can get through it. Whatever. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm sure you definitely find out what you're made of in a professional fight pretty quickly. No, that's awesome, man. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping we see you get the call soon, man, because it's got to be coming. It's got to be coming. And yeah, like you said, no bad will against Sabatini or Algeo. Those guys got to do their thing, but that's your fight, man. That's your fight. You should be in there. So whether it's CFFC, whether it's Bellator, Contender Series, the UFC, whatever it is, I hope it comes soon.
Yeah,
I really do, man.
Yeah, like honestly, I wouldn't be, as annoyed with CFFC if they didn't, kind of, because like when I took this fight, they were like, okay, if you win, we're going to have you on contract for 2 fights. So you can't, and you only can get out of it is if the UFC calls you. So like, I could have been fighting for other promotions, but I can't. So like, I can't fight for other promotions. So you guys got to fucking work really hard to get me a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't have the ability to fight for another promotion besides the UFC, and I'm the champion, and you guys aren't pushing me, you're not promoting me. I think they posted like one picture of me, with the belt on.
Yeah. Even that armbar was hard to find.
Yeah,
I mean, it's there, but it's not. It wasn't.
You're on ESPN MMA. Like, how many CFFC fights wind up on ESPN MMA? Yeah. Like, that's a lot of promotion for them.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, it's because of thank God ESPN MMA posted, and that got over 3 million views. And CFFC is like, oh, the last CFFC got over 3 million views. Wow, we're doing so good. I'm like, no,
where the fuck is that guy?
Got over 3 million views. Yeah,
your homeboy. I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but
listen,
dude.
That's
you're
just not
the guy
right.
you're pushing, who you wanted to win. He never got you 3 million views to your promotion. Like, come on, man, represent me. Like
the only thing 3 million people saw him. The only thing 3 million people saw was him getting his arm fucking shattered in half. Unfortunately, but
like the craziest thing is, like they say don't read the comments. But, like, everyone is saying, like, oh, that dude's mad legit. He didn't tap. That dude's, like, a boss. He didn't tap. Or what the fuck was that? Why'd that guy break his arm? Why didn't he just let go? And I'm like, how about, hey, that guy.
What a fucking armbar.
What an armbar. That submission, I think, across all promotions, no one's done that shit before the way I did it. And for a belt.
So, question: Is it considered a submission since he didn't tap? Because we were wondering about submission of the year.
We were going to ask you that because I think everywhere I was reading, it's like half the places have it listed as a TKO, half of them have it listed as a sub.
No, they really are back in that. Like, if I don't get submission, if Pat Sabatini can win submission of the year with a rear naked choke, and then they're going to say that's a TKO.
I agree.
Homeboy, he looked at his arm.
It was actually a noodle.
A noodle. His arm was gone. He didn't try to keep going. It's not like he was like, no, I'm good. He didn't even try.
Dude, he looked like he was processing that his arm was now a noodle.
He had no idea what was going on. We were sitting there, and me and Harry looking at each other. We're like, "Did he just say he broke it?"
Yeah, and we actually had a bunch of the fighters. A bunch of the players on the card were sitting right next to us, James. And I'll send you the video. I have a bunch of their reactions.
Oh, please send me video.
Everybody going fucking nuts. I mean, I'm also yelling and fucking disgusted in the video and we're going insane because fucking, oh my God,
that arm.
You can hear the bias. If you watch that while I'm doing it, you hear CM Punk being like, oh, Pat didn't tap though. Pat, he's tough. He's not. I'm like, where the fuck? Why are
Give
you
some
talking about
credit to the fucking guy
Yeah,
that won
give
the
some
fight.
hype.
If that happened to me, if my arm broke, do you know how many post
Oh,
CFFC
that building would have exploded.
saying this kid is the next big deal? He's gonna come for the UFC belt. Like this is just bothers me. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
it's fair. It's definitely fair,
Yeah.
man. I mean,
But enough of that with
we're
the CFFC.
officially
Facts.
We'll
James
Positive vibes
Gonzalez
only.
stands. So if you ever need anyone to go to battle,
Yeah.
we'll be fighting CFFC if we need
Yeah,
to.
we'll go to war.
Yeah, but right now though, immediately I'm just I'm training. I just got done sparring today. We're doing some top secret, location sparring.
Okay.
Gotta.
The government's over here trying to fuck
So
with us. But
who are your main sparring partners at Serralongo?
the machine, Mirage.
Mirage.
No way.
Like a lot of the guys I train with, they're all UFC fighters, they're all pro fighters. So
Who's the best?
always
Who's the
good
best
work.
grappler?
Yeah, let's get you in some trouble in the gym. Who's got the better wrestling, Aljo or Mirage?
Oh, jeez. Marab is a judo practitioner / sambo guy. Like he had a gas tank for days. The better technical wrestler, I would just assume Aljo. This guy's technical wrestling is out of control, man. The way
he's great
and breaks you down, no matter how much you try and get up. And like
that Sumalov last year was awesome.
Yeah, but Marab, just the pace he can keep up and his never-ending dying will. This guy, when he fought that bitch Ricky Simon, okay, I'm gonna say because he didn't want the rematch. Homeboy was getting his ass kicked that entire fight, and
We'll
that's
get behind this. Fuck Ricky Simon.
Fuck Ricky.
Is when you land on your head and you're paralyzed from your arms down, and you're in a full mounted guillotine a minute and a half out from the end of the fight, and you're doing everything you can without your arms to stay alive. And then Mark Goddard wants to fucking be like, oh no, the fight's over.
Yeah,
Fuck
he's an early stopper. He's an early stopper for sure.
Imagine how terrifying that is to not be able to defend a choke because your arms are paralyzed and make it to the bell and they call the fight and everything. So I would love to debut against Ricky Simon.
Yeah, there's the call out we were looking for.
Ricky Simon, if you don't want to fight my boy Marab, come on, fight me. This is the first the debut. I'm not ready for you, right, bro? So let's fight and let's see what happens. I'd love to fight Ricky Simon and get that win back for my boy because he doesn't want to fight Marab again. He definitely doesn't want to fight Marab again. And I'd love to, get him back for that bullshit.
Ricky, when you hear this, your mullet stinks.
Yeah, and you know what? My heart goes out to Ricky a little bit because I thought he kind of got a little shortchanged in that Uriah Faber fight. They were trying to get Faber, one last title shot for his retirement. I get it, but I think that fight could have went on. But yeah, man.
Dude, you versus Ricky would be a fun one.
Yeah, man. Let's go
until you wrap up that ankle.
I play with Marab every day, bro. So I hope you
got the blueprint.
It's gonna be the same thing, like I think. I don't see how it wouldn't, but yeah, like I wouldn't mind taking a fight against anyone in that division, even Sugar Sean, I know a lot of people. He's got a lot of hype. If he
sitting
needs
on his
fight,
throne already,
I'm down to fight him. I know he's the bigger guy in the division, but so what, bro? Like, let's go.
Yeah, I'm just waiting. I cannot wait for the day that me and Harry are doing a podcast for a fight card that weekend. And James Gonzalez took a fight on a week's notice to come fight one of these dudes. And I mean, my bank account might go on you, but listen.
Yeah. You'll win us a lot of money.
No, I'm just playing.
I don't want to be responsible for that.
You wouldn't. Hey, you would not be.
All I ask for is thoughts and prayers, man. Give me your spirit energy. Send me that shit.
We're great with that.
We're big with that.
We are excellent at moral support. We can definitely do that.
Yeah,
I was always a good trier, so.
But yeah. So I'm just staying ready, keeping ready, and hopefully, I get the call, and I'll be ready no matter what. That's why I'm really trying to keep eating healthy and keep my weight down. Because I don't just, I know I was making some posts like, hey, 2 weeks to make 135, 1 week to make 45. Fuck that shit. I'll make 135 tomorrow. Just give me the shot.
You don't got to get ready if you stay ready.
That's all you're asking for.
I'm training hard. I'll suffer for it. I don't care. My coach, Chris Weidman, he took his UFC fight short notice. He had to lose 35 pounds in a week and a half, 10 days. If he could lose 30 pounds in 10 fucking days, I can lose 15 pounds and make 35, no problem. You know what I'm saying? So let's just go. Let's
go.
I can't wait for that day that you get that shot, because it is gonna be a fucking fun one for all of us, and we're gonna be fucking pulling for you, man.
I'll call you guys after the win.
That's as long as
and
as long as
I'll call you after the lose too. Whatever.
Yeah. Either way,
Perfect.
now that you've been on once, you're basically locked into coming back on after that first shot.
Yes, sir. But and I hope you guys have been doing good through all this craziness. I hope it hasn't been too crazy for yourselves. I hope your family and everything's healthy. And
appreciate that. You too, man.
Likewise, man. Very much appreciated. Well, again, man, thank you so much for coming on. It's very much appreciated. We're gonna do everything in our power to get you that shot. That's for sure. We're great shills. We're great shills.
No problem, man.
And if there's fans allowed and wherever that venue is, that your first fight is at, we will be there. Don't you worry.
For sure, man. Thanks, guys, for having me on.
Nah, we appreciate it.
If you want to post it, go ahead, man. I can use all the publicity I can get.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be pumping this everywhere.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, James.
I'm gonna go eat something, and I'm back to training tomorrow. Okay.
Enjoy it. Stay safe, brother.
Best of luck, man.